Today, we look at the case of Belle Gibson. Hi, welcome to Dear Christian Jake. My name is Melissa and thank you for joining us today. On this channel, we link the lives and crimes of everyday people to our everyday Christian lives. Please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button and let's get into this. How hard is it to fake cancer? That's the question we're all going to ask ourselves today. How hard is it to fake cancer? How hard it is to fake anything on social media these days? And why do people feel the need to live a fake life? Now, Belle Gibson was a young, beautiful, and intelligent woman who took advantage of a lot of people. In 2007, Belle Gibson was involved in some skating activity and she had a lot of friends. And even as far back as 2007, Belle Gibson was already known as a pathological liar. Her friends and schoolmates would later come out to say that Belle loved lying and had a new lie to tell every chance she got. She would come over with cast and slings saying that her arms were broken, or she would come over talking about how she was a test tube baby and how difficult it was growing up as a test tube baby. Belle took it even further when she posted on that forum saying she just had intense brain surgery and intense heart surgery and she needed somebody to send her flowers. After noticing that a lot of people were beginning to catch on to her, Belle would later move her scam activities from that community right down to Instagram. In 2013, Belle posted about having brain cancer and how much alternative medicine and traditional routes have helped her in curing her cancer. Now, this is what I want you to understand, guys. Cancer is a very serious thing. I personally have three close people who have died from cancer. My foster mom died from breast cancer. My auntie died from blood cancer. My uncle died from thyroid cancer. So I have had a lot of people who've died with cancer or out of, being a cancer patient. And I don't even play with that. I don't joke with that. So I want you guys to understand what it meant for somebody to come online and say, look, I stopped getting chemo. I stopped, going through the orthodox route. I did this and I got my cancer cured. It was like a beacon of hope to the cancer community. It was like, you're the Messiah we have been looking for. So Belle would later write on via Instagram and talked about how devastated she was when she found out she had brain cancer, how bad it got, how bad the medicines or the orthodox route was making her feel, and why she decided to stop. And she would later go on to say that when she stopped, that her doctors actually thought she was crazy. You can't be doing this. You're risking your life. They didn't believe in her. But through hard work and perseverance, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying so hard not to laugh when I say this because I know it's not a funny topic, but it just sounds really bizarre to me. How can somebody be cooking up this chain of lies? And so she would go on to say that through hard work and perseverance, she was able to cure herself of brain cancer and she was cancer free. And she would go on to talk about vaccinations and say that a lot of the vaccinations that the government was forcing our children to take or forcing kids to have is part of the reason why a lot of people later go on to have cancer in their adult life. And she would go on to say, look, we need to stop eating processed food. We need to stop eating all sort of dairy food. Now, don't get me wrong. I completely understand the need for exercise and good living and good eating. You need to keep your body clean at all times. But it is not a cure for anything. Okay? Now, everyone started buying this. She was such a good storyteller. She started becoming a lot of inspiration to people. People loved her. People wanted to meet her. She was like an idol in the cancer community. Belle later went on to get a lot of attention, because I just want to remind you guys that this was a period where the wellness movement wasn't so out there. Okay, this was in 2013, so it was a time where the wellness movement was just starting, and a lot of people did not really know that much. So when people heard that this lady was curing cancer through food, a lot of people were naturally curious. People actually just wanted to know, and a lot of sick people started buying into it. Okay, Belle was able to play the world, for lack of better word to use. She was able to play the world. She was given awards by Cosmopolitan. She went on to be interviewed by so many large big media houses, and she later went on to do a lot of stuff. It was just crazy. This woman became an idol, and it got so big that even Apple approached her and said they wanted to work with her, and they wanted her wellness app or wellness movement to be part of their Apple Watch, the new Apple Watch that was coming out. So she was really becoming something, okay? And this is why this story is so important, because it just shows you how much greed can actually damage your life. Now, after about 16, 17 months, Belle started having a little bit of dwindle in the attention people were giving her. She was still popular, but it was just over and over, all said and done. So she wasn't really getting that much attention anymore. And then she did it again. So Belle came out to talk about having 2 other cancers, guys. This is insane. This woman was crazy. 2 other cancers, and now she went on to say that the cancer was now in her spleen, it was in her blood, and she was gonna die. She felt like her body was dying, and automatically everybody started giving her attention. But now a few people were beginning to think that her claims were just being outrageous, okay? Because in the cancer community, while I do understand that you can have 2 cancers at the same time, because I have an uncle who has like 2 cancers, it is so rare for you to say, oh, you beat this through healthy food and healthy living. One would think that since this is working for you, there is no other way your cancer is going to come back. It's not possible, because it's not like you're changing the diet. You're still on the diet. You're still eating the same foods that healed you from the first cancer. So it was kind of strange that Belle was saying she had 2 other new cancers, and the cancer was now in her blood. So a lot of people started getting their spider senses started going, wee! And now people were beginning to notice. So there's this particular journalist. I'm gonna put the name and the picture down below. He started trying to get to know Belle, and he would later go on to say that when he went on the internet, it was like she was pretty non-existent before 2013. He literally had to do a very, very, very deep dive, guys. I need to emphasize the very, just to show you guys how deep he had to do research just to find something on her. And that was because Belle had deleted all her social media footprints up until 2013. But this guy was just as dedicated to finding the truth as Belle was dedicated to her lies. And he uncovered everything. He uncovered the skateboarding community, how he uncovered the fact that Belle wasn't as decent and humble as she was trying to paint, show the world. She was trying to paint this facade that was pretty non-existent, and she didn't have cancer. Okay, there was not even one single blood or vein or spine or cell that had any trace of cancer in this woman's body. Okay, and so Belle started getting antsy. The reporter organized a meeting with Belle, and he went over to see her. And when he got there, Belle started, going around in circles. And he would later go on to say he couldn't pinpoint anything. Sometimes when you have a conversation with somebody, you can actually hold them accountable for something. She was a slippery L. You couldn't grasp anything she was saying to you. There was nothing concrete or something that had a foundation. It was all speculation. And then she would go on to say, at this point, she started to panic. So she started trying to sweet talk the reporter, but God bless him, he wasn't impressed. Okay, I can just imagine what's going on in his mind, like just sitting across from her and just listening to a pathological liar. He was not impressed, and so he continued doing what he was doing. And Belle called him a few weeks later after that first interview, and when she called him, she started talking about people who were spreading stories, people who didn't even understand that they were hurting others by the lies they were talking about. And she would later go on to indirectly say that sometimes people can off themselves because of what other people are saying about them. She had gotten to a point or a stage of full-blown panic. And then she went ahead to tell this reporter this journalist that she was beginning to have doubts about her disease. She was beginning to have doubts about her doctor. She felt like her doctor wasn't genuine. Her doctor wasn't telling her the truth. And the reporter would just ask her, are you trying to tell me like you don't have cancer? And Belle would say, I think so. And so the reporter / journalist decided to break the story almost immediately, because he was scared that if he didn't, that Belle was just going to think of something else just to cover stuff, and then maybe when he finally released it, people wouldn't believe him anymore. So he was like, okay, it's now or never. And then he broke the story, and people started getting messages. Belle is a fraud. Belle is a fraud. Belle lied about cancer. Belle never had cancer. And the cat was out of the bag. And what did Belle do? She decided to come up with an even worse story, guys. It's like this girl, I think somebody needs to tell her that she's really, really bad at lying. I don't know why she comes up with this stuff. Anyways, so like I was saying, she decided that she was going to tell the world that sometime in 2009, she met this guy called Mac Jones. And this Mac Jones was an immunologist who came over to her house with a German machine with 4 electrodes. 2 were under the seat and 2 were at the back, okay? And this guy diagnosed that she had terminal brain cancer. Okay, so first of all, when I heard this, the first thing that comes to mind is no legit doctor is going to diagnose you at home without proper hospital tests. So, but let's move on. And so she said that Mac Jones told her that she had terminal brain cancer and she had only 4 months to live. And then when she was asked why she didn't go to a proper hospital, why didn't you get a third opinion, second opinion, 16th opinion? And she goes, well, she was scared to tell people how she got her diagnosis. But that wasn't what she said in the beginning. She actually said that she was diagnosed. And I would like to think when somebody say I'm diagnosed, it means like a proper medical report. But, let's move on. She said that she was scared to tell people that she got diagnosed at home. And that was why she didn't go to a proper hospital, or she was scared to get a second opinion, which actually makes no sort of sense to me. But, well, I guess it makes sense in her head. And this guy would later go on to give her oral chemo, and then for the next 4 years, he was treating her and, just telling her, oh, now you don't have cancer. Oh, now the cancer is in your blood and it's in your spleen. And when research was done, it was found out that there was nobody by the name of Mac Jones in Belle's life. It was just another lie. And so Belle lost everything. She was arrested and she was made to pay $410,000 back to the people she scammed. Oh, and I forgot to add this initially, guys. She was also opening charities. The balls of this woman, guys, the audacity. She was opening charities saying, oh, she wanted to help the world. She wanted to help some cancer patients who couldn't afford treatment. And she would take so much money from a lot of people. There was this family of a young boy called Joshua. People actually contributed a lot of money for his cause because he was just a little boy who had cancer. You know, seeing a little baby who has cancer or a kid who has cancer, it tugs at your heart strings. And so people donated a lot of money. Some people said, okay, you know what, we're going to donate over $10,000. It was rumored that they were able to raise over $300,000, but I'm not sure if, you know, that's true or not, allegedly. And Belle never gave a cent to that family. So in retrospect, I think that she owes the court, or, you know, her victim, she owes the court or victim more than $410,000. But I think, you know, it's just a summarized figure, and they just told her, okay, you know what, pay $410,000. So she lost her house, she lost all endorsements. In fact, she was just thoroughly disgraced as a con woman and a fraud. Which brings us to the Bible versus true crime. What does God say about situations like this? The Bible says pride goes before a fall. You know, the thing with people is that most of us, or most people, think that when they do something really wrong, or when they're committing a crime, they always feel like they're never gonna get caught. You know, they're never gonna get caught. I'm invincible. I've been doing this for so long, and nobody has found me out. So I think I can go on. And the Bible also talks in the book of Psalm. The Bible talks about vanity. The Bible talks about how vanity to God is like a split second, a millisecond. So most of us, we want to be liked. We amass a lot of things illegally. We amass a lot of things, you know, not going with the way of God or the way that God wants us to go to. And, you know, for a minute, it's all good and fine. For a minute, the devil entices you with all the money, the attention, the fame. But as you go on, you begin to notice that the money doesn't make you happy anymore. The Bible says that the blessings of God comes with no sorrow. So whatever it is that you're getting from the devil, I just want you to understand that he's going to come back to collect. The devil is not your friend. So what we see here is a very vain, proud woman, okay? And on the other hand, we see a lot of people who don't go to God. And I'm talking to just Christians right now. We see a lot of people who don't go to God for guidance. How can somebody who is unverified, who has no credentials, who has no proof, no evidence, come online and tell you, oh, look, I'm curing brain cancer through food, and you just, boom, okay, we're not going to the hospital anymore. We're doing it Belle style. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But surprisingly, a lot of people did that. Surprisingly, a lot of people just bought it so easily, which is really scary because these things do happen. These things can make you feel a certain way about life, okay? So when God tells you in all season, pray, God knows what he's talking about. If you're going to a doctor for a minor headache, pray, because look, the devil has vessels he can use to destroy your life. So allegedly, some people died from this. Some people actually lost their lives because they stopped taking the drugs. They stopped going, you know, to chemo. They stopped going through, you know, the orthodox route, and they had to pay the ultimate price for it. But this hasn't been confirmed, or Belle would have been charged with manslaughter, but it wasn't confirmed. So it's just, you know, gossip down the grapevine. So guys, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Drop your comments and likes, and let's get down to it. I'll see you on my next video.